VHS. We're diving deep in cheesy flicks. Yeah, we're on a vintage quest. Low reviews but high on laughs. Let's give these films a cheer. The cult classics, flops, and nuts. There are topics this year. We're the Ejectables, rolling back the years, celebrating movies that no one else cheers. From backhand juice to epic fails, we say it's all good. We're the Ejectables, yeah, we're misunderstood.
Welcome to the Ejectables. This is the show where movie enthusiasts Bill and Ian join forces with a weekly rotating guest to celebrate movies that we feel have been unjustly panned by the critics or sadly ignored and forgotten by audiences. This week's guest is a return guest named Mark Thornton, who's a freelance video editor from Los Angeles, California. And you can stalk him at his website, www.arkme.com, or hire him for lots of jobs, or just give him money. Mark, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Ian, and Bill's there too. Thanks for having me back. It's a pleasure.
It's amazing to have you back with your fancy posters behind you.
Well, let's not. Sure. Yeah. Thanks. This is some cool Mondo spots there.
Are we making you nervous? Why are you sweating?
Well, I had 20 fans on, and I was. You guys said turn the fans off. Turn the fans off. There's a heat wave right now in Los Angeles. Even though it's my favorite R&B band, we're gonna have to turn.
Can you sing that for us?
I know, Mark. We said turn off the fans, but take off your shirt.
How could you turn them off if you're turning them on?
I don't think it's that kind of YouTube show, you guys. It's not Stump the
Shirtless
Bill.
Ejectables.
Save that for the trivia one.
So, Mark T, anything new going on?
No, I've just been busy working and sweating, mostly nervous from right now. We had a good report before we hit record, and now I'm like, it's fine.
You're nervous after watching Ishtar? Oh, I just spoiler alert.
Mark,
not nervous at all. Feeling inspired.
Did you get any flowers today for Mother's Day? Did everyone celebrate you?
No, that makes no sense, Ian. But
because he's not a mother, Ian.
All right, I don't want to.
You were going to do a mother. Maybe I might be a mean mother, but
I've never. Maybe that works. I've never met you in person. You could be either or, a mean mother or a mother.
Mark, on V-Day, do you celebrate? The World War II achievement. What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Oh yeah. I think it's time that we rename Valentine's Day to be the victory of first marriage day. Whatever.
There you go.
Trying to keep it. Stay out of the news, guys. Sorry.
Okay. What was that website again? www.arkme.com. Okay. Yeah. So, Mark, welcome back to the show. Now, I think we should just delve into what movie you chose today. Do you want to tell people what you chose?
I got to tell you, there was spoiled earlier, but I got to tell you, I chose based on the premise when Bill's like, hey, what's a movie everyone hates? Which is not really, the entire premise of the show, because you want to find hidden gems. This is not a hidden gem. This is reviled, right? But it's kind of notorious. It's notorious, but I think that's unfair. But I also like cheesy movies. This is Ishtar from the 80s, Warren Beatty, and we can see right here Dustinhoffman. And I think it's hilarious because it's, first of all, it is bad, but also like the characters, the whole premise is that there's these terrible singers, terrible songwriters, and they get sucked into this fish out of water kind of international intrigue. But their songs are so terrible, and it's basically the first 20 or 30 minutes is them, like how they met, the backstory of them writing these songs, and this kind of this what the hell is Bill doing? He's going over. He's gonna check something out.
Keep going.
It's very like Spinal Tap, Best in Show kind of. You see bad songs and the characters are like smiling at it, and of course I guess the trivia is that the what's his name, Paul Williams, who I know has a guest spot on Babylon 5 and Community. I'm just kidding. but wrote, Rainbow Connection, legendary
Phantom of the
I
songwriter.
have a great Paul Williams story, Mark.
Oh yeah, were you saving it for
Right
now?
Yeah.
Tell it instead of talking about see no evil, hear no evil, or not.
Spoiler alert. Ian's horrible pick was Ian's horrible pick?
The Weatherman.
The Weatherman, yeah.
Are we just all going to tear down the movies?
It's a surprise for everyone, but it's okay.
Tell your story.
So Paul Williams had a documentary, and he was speaking at the New Art in West LA. I went opening night because I was such a big fan, and then he shows up. He pats me on the back. I'm sitting down there, and he goes, "I know what you're thinking. He'd be taller," and just walks away.
That's kind of funny.
He's a funny guy.
He's a legend. I mean, Phantom of the Paradise.
Yes.
Come on, then.
Yeah. I saw him do a Q&A with that at the Egyptian once, maybe.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Maybe 8 years ago.
Are you trying to top me, Mark?
Yeah, and then he said to me, remember what I told Bill? I'm like, what? No, that didn't happen.
No, I'm special. I have a special interaction with Paul Williams.
That's great.
Yep. So why do you think this movie is so reviled, Mark?
Well, now maybe you should go into that Vanity Fair article about the notorious history, because it was like, this is a terrible bomb, but I think it was like pushed as this like big budget international intrigue, but it's a dumb comedy. Like it should never even be, like, the whole thing could have been filmed on a studio lot. So it's very weird that they tried to do all that. But I mean, it's just like these subtle jokes that are like, what, in the beginning they have an agent, and it's showing the agent, and he's like booking them to go to Morocco, and he's like in his office with gloves on, and he's like 10 coats on, and you're like, what? Oh, because he can't afford the heat. Like, it's just very like subtle kind of jokes, like this guy's terrible agent. So of course he books them in a terrible kind of, but man, these songs, the Paul Williams songs, like, he's got to write them to sound like bad songs, I think turn people off, because they're like, wow, these songs are bad, like not getting that they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be like cringe, like, wait, he sings leaving some love in my will.
That old
like to the elderly people, and they're like aghast. And then I always talk about telling the truth can be dangerous business, which is a good line.
It can be.
Telling the truth can be dangerous. Yeah, look at this. Yeah,
that's a catchy song though, because I'm singing it in my head as you say it.
Yeah, and it's true. Yeah, and there's like a line. I wrote down some lines that I actually liked. Like, what's the one guy's suicidal, and Warren Beatty's like, well, you said that you'd rather have nothing than settle for less. And there's a line about, well, he's not a communist, he's from the South. I don't know, but the whole thing is that they're like playing against the type, which I think is funny, because Warren Beatty's like supposed to be like like super nerdy, and Dustin Hoffman is like the sex symbol. Yeah, which like is supposed to be this like Hollywood joke that is very like, it doesn't without the context of the actors, you're like, oh, okay, this is the nerdy guy and this is the suave guy, which historically would make no sense and is like kind of a double joke there. I don't know, but yeah, I think people didn't like it, probably because it's also bad, but
Ian, why do you think it's an ejectable?
I mean, I think it's unfairly reviled, because it was branded as a terrible bomb, which it was a bomb, but so were so many good movies. So but I
think we have a clip.
Hey, it takes a lot of nerve to have nothing at your age. Don't you understand that? Yeah, most guys would be ashamed, but you've got the guts to just say the hell with it. You say that you'd rather have nothing than settle for less.
Look at this. You pull out my pull-out quote, and it's also funny because that whole context is that he's calling his friend for help. Hey, I'm suicidal. And then because the cops show up, he runs out to the ledge, which he wasn't on the ledge at all until like there's a big deal. It's so embarrassing. There's a lot of cringe, but it's supposed to be. I don't know.
And the
I
parents
think it
sticking
was,
their heads out the window and stuff. It's so funny.
yeah.
That's a
Your
good
rabbi's here. He's like, oh God, why, you know, well, and the mom says, he's out on a ledge, and the mom is like, dude, we all feel blue a little, like all the worst, most embarrassing things that you don't want them there for this. Like, but also the international intrigue. Scenes I thought there was funny. There's a bit with a blind camel that I thought was not too offensive. There is some some, I would say racist stuff when they're in the Middle East, fish out of water. But then the two main characters are so like kind of aloof. It's not, no one's mean about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
That's
I
what I
think
think.
those scenes in the 80s too, I think because we weren't maybe so aware back then, some of those actually seem like funny scenes, but now watching it, like that translation scene is
The translation scene I think is legendary too, because the is good, because the locals are like, what the fuck is up with this white
Yeah.
guy? Like, this is, they're in terror. And then he does the whole, but then Warren Beatty's there in disguise, and they have a thing. And he's Kareem Abdul, and then Warren Beatty's like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Hey, they understand each other because they're so like, it's the dumbest. It's so dumb, but the characters are dumb. That's why it's funny, because the characters are dumb. So I think it's unfairly reviled. We should talk about it for hours more.
I don't hate it. Wait, what were you going to say, Bill?
There's an article in Vanity Fair. If you put Ishtar, Vanity Fair, it details the entire debacle that this movie was. I highly recommend it, and we'll link to it in the comments as well.
Is there anything specifically from that?
Yeah, what's your synopsis of, like, with the short version? Just everything went wrong.
Okay, so Alimi is a genius. She's a genius. She wrote The Heartbreak Kid, which is such a great movie, not the Ben Stiller one. And she's part of that legendary Nichols and May. So she did Mickey and Nicky also. So she was going to do a movie, and she's a legendary rewriter. So she rewrote Reds. She saved Warren Beatty's Reds, and she doesn't get any credit. She rewrote like Dangerous Liaisons. Like in the 80s, she's the unsung hero of so many amazing movies. So Warren Beatty said, I'm a progressive guy. I want to embolden this woman to make her film. So she had this idea about this Simon Garfunkel type of artists that were way past their prime, and they were pretty bad. And it just got catapulted where it was like Coca-Cola bought Sony. So instead of filming it in Southern California, they filmed it in Morocco, where they had, I think they had some tax credits.
Oh, no.
There. And then because Warren was so talented, Vittorio Storaro, who's like one of the greatest DPs ever, he's Italian. I think he shot Reds, maybe. I don't know. But, he's not really a comedy guy. And she's shooting for comedy, and he's shooting for like the best way it looks. And
we're never going to know what he was going to say.
Usually expensive. And Warren, being Warren, who, they're all just all insane, and he couldn't take over the movie because he was worried about like how it was going to look if a man takes over a movie by a woman. But everyone on the crew said she should have been fired. She didn't know what she was doing. It was a complete disaster. But Dustin Hoffman did say, and I agree with him, that they should have just made the movie about these two songwriters in New York. But she was fascinated with the Middle East, and she was prophetic about how it would dictate the rest of the 20th century dealing with the Middle East, so that was cool. But she is this movie side, it's terrible, it's awful. Looks gorgeous. I did see it twice in the theater when I was a kid.
I think I did too.
Whoa. Why would you go back? Like,
I went with my friends. I was in grade school, and then my mom and dad were like, we're going to go see Ishtar. And, I was like, oh, I'll go see that again. I didn't really understand it. I knew there was a breast in there and stuff like that. So I went to go see it. But after the second time, it's like, oh, this is terrible.
At the time, it was a boobie.
Yeah, it was a boob. It was a one boob. So,
yeah. So this came out when I was 14 or 15. And like Bill, I think I saw it twice in the theater. Everything I liked about it then, which was like the intrigue and like the Indiana Jonesy, we're in the desert and there's guns. That's the stuff I loved when I was a kid. But as an adult now, I the chemistry between them, all the songwriting stuff in New York City, that stuff I think is actually funny. It's hard to believe Warren Beatty as this dummy. And so maybe he is a bit miscast in that part, but I think it's funny. Like that ledge scene is really good on the building. Ebert said it's a dreadful film. I don't think it's bad. I've seen worse films, even in other movies that we're discussing this round. I think are much worse than this film.
Oh man, there he goes. But it's like, you're right that like, why go film there? Like this doesn't, you don't need a grand, or you get one shot. Like there's no reason. Whenever they're in the desert, it looks like a soundstage. Like, and the humor you don't need to see 20,000 dunes. You just need to see 5.
They could have done it in California.
It's totally unnecessary to have any sort of,
but
a tax credit would make sense, I guess.
But
I think it's some big budget thing.
I think there's some joy to be found in this film. I think I don't think it's horribly painful to sit through. Maybe it gets a little boring in the second half because all that just is nonsense, but still any sort of concert scene they have, I think that stuff is great. It's not awful.
Look at this. Ian's on my side, Bill.
It cost $55 million. It made $14 million. Woo.
Yeah, but then they made their money back on VHS and cable.
Yeah, I rented it like 14 times yesterday. No.
Whoa.
I do have the tape somewhere here. But I mean, but it was a box office bomb, but kind of I think unfairly, because all that everyone knows that the story going in. It's like, hey, this is the big bomb of the year. And I guess Warren Beatty didn't want to pull a Edward Norton and like take it over.
Yeah, well, they basically did their own cuts. They would all have to decide on an edit, all 3 of them, because Dustin Hoffman was a nightmare also.
Weird.
Yeah. I know, crazy, right? Yeah. Definitely.
But their chemistry is great, the two. And I think Warren Beatty, as an aloof, like goofy, kind of dumb guy, is great in it, because he figures out of the stuff like, oh, they're playing us and they're playing us. Wait a second, because it's not unbelievable that he would figure it out, or whatever's going on.
There's a sweetness to it, which I appreciated. So if someone is going to pursue this film, what is your reason? Just to kind of clarify, to finish it up here.
To watch it?
Yeah, why should they?
State your case, Mark.
Yeah, make your case.
Because I think I want to see these terrible songwriters, but their songs are good. In the the diegetic, the kayfabe songs
they're actually bad.
We love their bad songs are like bad jingles. Like, even there's things where they're daydreaming about writing jingles. It's a cutaway where it's like software for your machine or something like that. Like, that's one of the show tunes they're writing, and one of them clearly is because they just want work as songwriters. There should have been way more of that. Yeah, the whole international intrigue, I think, is fun too, to put them in that situation. I mean, it really should have been a TV series. Yeah. Should have been a TV series on Showtime where they do different adventures every week. But
there you go.
It still could happen.
Different world. Yeah,
it's a valuable IP.
And you have to think there's real people like these people that are like, oh, we should write songs. Like, there's a million actors that want to do this. So I think there's a reality to the goofiness of this film.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand when two like kind of annoying guys are writing songs on a piano together, like that's what it sounds like, and they're riffing, and that's what it's very funny. And then if you don't know that that's a thing, you're like, well, these guys are annoying. Well, then then the premise of the movie is lost on you. So but
maybe if it were a smaller film, it would have been more successful, just like an intimate, indie sort of thing. But
I think so.
So shall we move on to the next film?
Sure.
So I chose a film starring Nicolas Cage, directed by Gore Verbinski, came out 20 years ago in 2005, called The Weatherman. And this is a movie. Nick Cage plays this weatherman who's he can't do anything right. He can't say anything right. He's well-meaning, but he's screwed up everything with his family. His relationship with his dad is strained, and it's all just because he's insecure and awkward and a bit of a loser. I like this movie. Well, actually, I'll show a clip. I'm going to show a clip, and then I'll get into why I dig it. Here is a clip from The Weatherman.
Don't forget the tartar sauce.
Call the order in, Irene, and quit busting my you-know-what, okay?
You always have listened to what I'm saying to you.
I heard you! Tartar sauce!
Tartar sauce, tartar sauce, tartar sauce. Tartar sauce, tartar sauce, tartar sauce, tartar sauce. Man, I'd like to put my face in there. Right in there. Tartar sauce. My hips are cold. Tartar sauce. That's when you know it's cold. I like eating pussy. Tartar sauce. A lot of guys don't. Well, maybe they do. Maybe that's just black guys. Tartar sauce. What happened to the guy who was trying to go around the world in a balloon? Did he make it? I should put some espionage or stolen plutonium in my novel, Tartar Sauce. Spice it up. Neil Young. Fuck, it's cold. Neil Young. Why am I thinking about Neil Young? Neil Diamond. Neil. There's not a lot of famous Neils. Is this Wednesday? I wish I had 2 dicks. I thought the whole family was going to learn Spanish together this year. That never really happened. I haven't had a Spanish omelet in a long time. There we go.
Anything else? No?
Where is the tartar sauce?
They were out. They apologized. They were cool about it.
Watching Bill's reactions to that clip is exactly the reason why I like this film. It's uncomfortable.
Was he like this the whole time? Because I
He's
was.
just like, oh, geez.
I just can't believe you put it. You chose that clip.
Well, I think that clip is a good example of what this film is. There's a sense of reality there because we all, like, our brains go a million different directions. We think like, not necessarily like he was thinking, but it's so uncomfortable, cringy at times. It's funny. It's darkly humorous. And I think even touching at times. I don't know, it's fresh. It surprised me a lot. The dialogue is sharp. The acting is really good. I think it's a really good film, and Ebert loved it. What do you think, Mark?
Oh, well, oh man, it was like 30 seconds in that I was like, oh, because I had never heard of it. I had never, or maybe I'd heard of it, but I'd never seen it until you said, "Hey, let's watch this." You know, and and like 30 seconds in, I was cringing for like 2 hours, like just immediately, like, oh, it's one of these. Oh, nothing's gonna go. Oh, everything's gonna go wrong for this guy. You're on his side, but you're also not on his side because he is a dick. Like, the whole thing is he learns not to be a dick, basically. But you're like, oh man, oh. She catches him in that lie, and then she calls the restaurant, like, "Are you out of tarts?" And he's like, "Everything."
Yeah,
you know,
he
everything.
opens the letter that they write themselves.
Yeah. But his acting was super good. I thought he was really good in it. I don't want to spoil that it does turn out better. Like, cause I thought like, oh, he's going to like, cause he keeps kind of hinting like this guy's going to jump off a cliff and then like, that's it. And then everyone's going to cheer. Yeah. He was going to go to jail for killing everyone and everyone's going to cheer when he like dies. You're like, but like, you know, I don't know. Are you, but you know, I did like it. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. Cause
it's uncomfortable.
It was tough. Yeah.
Because you don't want to go out. You don't want to go on Zoloft. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, until the third act, and I'm like, okay, things are gonna, okay, it's gonna get. Not that everything's resolved. That's the whole point. Is that he like learns to not be a dick. Is good. It's a good message, but man, it's so tough to watch. Like, he's good. This is one of the Nicolas Cage like not overacting, not crazy, which are good too. But this is like he's very good in it.
I agree.
In, like non-ironic way,
mm-hmm.
which is good.
What do you think, Bill?
This was one of the best scripts I've ever written. It was like a famous script. Steve Conrad is probably one of the greatest screenwriters that ever lived. And so I was excited when they made this movie. And then, you know, Gore Verbinski, I don't think he's known for subtlety. And I think the tone's just a little bit off. So it comes off pretty dark and desperate. There's such great stuff in it. It's hard to dismiss it. Mm-hmm. But if you want a great Steve Conrad movie, there's one called Unfinished Business with Vince Vaughn. That's amazing. Wrestling Ernest Hemingway. He did The Pursuit of Happiness. And then he did A Wonder is really good also. But in terms of original scripts, there's no one better than him. Has one of the best shots I've ever seen in film when he's taking his dad, played by Michael Caine, who's absolutely amazing in the movie, up past the brownstone and the Chicago winter. So it's worth it like that. In the hands of Alexander Payne, or perhaps a guy that really understands comedy and nuance, I feel like would have been a classic. But this is a great movie. Yeah.
Oh, wow, you liked it more than I thought you did.
Yeah, you're into it.
Alexander Payne.
So dark. It was so dark, man.
Yeah, it's so dark.
It's
so cringy and uncomfortable. That's what I loved about it.
You need someone that understands the human condition. Gore Verbinski, I know it was a little bit out of his batter's box a little bit, but for the most part, I think a better director, like a director that understands comic sensibility, like the Descendants. That movie is a 4-star movie. And if Gore Verbinski directed The Descendants, it would have been a train wreck,
The Alexander Payne movie.
But the cinematography is absolutely, The Descendants is that awesome.
Okay, I should rewatch that with George Clooney. I think you froze. I think we know what you're talking about.
We're talking about Ishtar, right?
Yeah, Ishtar. It's a 4-star movie. It'd be
very cringy. We love Nick Cage and Ishtar.
Telling the truth can be dangerous business.
Telling the truth can be serious. Yeah,
dangerous business. Now, have we heard your guy? Is there any Michael Caine impressions we're doing? I did love Nicolas Cage, where his dad is inexplicably Michael Caine, was kind of like kind of a legendary situation, which would make sense that because he's supposed to be very different, and that's what he struggles with his dad. But if you guys want to do any Michael Caine impressions,
Will?
Why was this? He was doing this American accent.
He was trying.
No, he was accent. He was in between. He was sounded like Michael Caine.
I felt bad for his wife. I think that was an extra. I'm like, let the lady say a word,
There was a weird, the mom, I assumed the mom was gone or dead, or there was some, but she was there. Oh, but I guess the point was that Nicolas Cage, he didn't have his relationship with his mom was fine. It was just the dad that he was trying to emulate. And he's taking his dad is dying in the doctor, and he gets he doesn't get
the coffee,
oh man, because it's the thing doesn't work, and he wants change and gets the wrong thing, and then the dad is really, and you're like, oh man,
exactly.
It was every 5 minutes,
but he was trying. His intentions were good. He went to go get it.
That's why it was frustrating.
Yeah,
the right thing and the hard thing are usually the same thing.
Right, but more of it. He did have some accent.
Did he? Why? He had an American accent.
And the speech, when the power went off during his speech, he never got to finish it.
And then he's in the car, and he's like, "I don't understand."
He's like, "I don't know what you meant by that," but
oh yeah, that was good. But I got the vibe. You don't need to go into it more. You just heard the first sentence of "like a rock" lyric.
When he's pointing the bow at the boyfriend, I'm like, he's gonna kill him.
Yes, Michael Rispoli. And
oh my god, we just watched another movie we're going to do in a couple of weeks, but Michael Rispoli plays a boxer in this movie we're going to do, and he's so good. I didn't realize how good he is. He's not as good in this film, but
he was supposed to be Tony Soprano, but they went with James Gandolfini. Yeah,
I didn't realize how good.
A little trivia for you people.
Thank you so much. Should we move on to your movie?
Yeah.
So what'd you do, Bill? Best movie ever. Oh no, Bill's okay. There you are.
See no evil, hear no evil. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
I have a clip.
That was good. That was good, Mark.
Why don't we play a clip from?
You want me to play it, or you got it?
What about you, wise ass? Was there or wasn't there a woman? He's deaf. You have to be facing him. Oh, Jesus. All right, no more bullshit. Was there or wasn't there a woman?
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm goddamn serious.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a woman?
So your typical late 80s, early 90s action comedy. Genewilder is deaf. Richard Pryor is blind. They get mixed up in a murder. And so together they have to clear their names, evade the police, and find the real killers.
And go to Morocco.
Go to Morocco. Yeah, there's no Paul Williams songs in this movie. It's just a delight. I loved it. I loved it when I was a kid.
Shaking his head the whole time.
Well, you know, I don't.
It is a delight. I agree.
Yes, thank you,
A
Mark.
delight when it's done and you move on to the next thing in your life.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta watch more depressing movies. It's a silly little comedy. I think it's their best. Fun fact: they weren't really friends. Richard Pryor didn't really like genewilder. Also, yeah. And they did another one after this, which was a bigger disaster called Another You. Peter Bogdanovich got fired for that movie 6 weeks in. It originally took place in New York, and then they moved it to LA and they hired a new director. The movie's a train wreck. It's on TV all the time if you want to watch a train wreck. But Mark,
I don't even know that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is one of those classic, like, if you have a list of like the dumbest gimmick comedy movies, like the gimmick, are that they're totally disabled and we're gonna kind of mock it the whole time. But man, there's so many good gags where one can understand and one can't, and it goes, and then reverse that, like, and so it is super good in that sense, and how clever it is with those two. I did like it, but I like dumb. I would say it's very dumb comedy, but I love dumb comedy, so I'm with it. And yeah, just it's always like, they're stuck in the middle of a murder happens around them, of course, and what Gene Wilder can't hear it, and the guy Richard Pryor can't see.
And he trips over the guy.
I'm explaining the plot now. Yeah,
he thinks the guy disappeared.
I'm just explaining the plot, but I did think it was clever. Maybe a little too long, but it was fine.
Bill, are you typing us letters?
No, I'm ordering another DVD of See No Evil. I want to make sure in case my other DVD dies.
It's so painfully unfunny for me. I saw this at the theater, and I think I saw it at the theater at the time. I don't think I minded it then because I was like a kid, and I think it was like the only big movie that came out that week, so that's why I saw it. It's so dumb. It was so hard for me to choose a clip because I didn't think any of it was funny. I'm like, what do I choose?
That was a good clip because it explained the premise, and
yeah, that's what I went with. I'm like, okay, you kind of get the idea. Like, there's a scene when they're fighting, and obviously Richard Pryor can't see, so Gene Wilder's like rotating him to like punch the guy. He's at 12 o'clock. It was so.
Because that what an inherently funny premise that you didn't find funny.
It's so not funny. It's just not funny.
That was the one part I'm like, oh, this is the dumbest scene. Oh, this makes sense because it needs to happen later. This is there so they understand how we can punch someone later. That's the only reason.
Do we
the only reason this is there?
Why is what's on Kevin Spacey's face? Do they ever explain that? What is that huge lump?
He's got a lump on his face? Oh, I forgot that Kevin Spacey is like not the most problematic aspect of this movie. I forgot he was in it.
And why is he British?
Yeah.
Well, he's got the Michael Caine. He went to the Michael Caine. They switched.
It's so bad. The Boston Globe is on my side. They said a witless mess with more script writers than laughs.
I know, but that's so stupid because every script has that many. Because the WGA decided not to. You can't list all your writers.
But maybe those have laughs, so the laughs outnumber the amount of.
Brutal.
It's brutal. For me, this was so bad. I was like, Ishtar is amazing.
All right, so this brings us to.
Oh no,
okay,
Bill!
What's going on with Bill? You got to plug in, bro.
Yeah,
Mark.
What happened?
Pick which movie you liked out of this week.
Other than mine,
your own, yes.
Yeah. I mean, look. Obviously, Weatherman is a better movie, but I'm gonna choose. Like it's like 1,000 times.
Turn your fan on. It's the heat.
Yes,
there's a heat wave, guys. No, but I would choose because I like a dumb comedy, and like if I ever am gonna watch one again, it's gonna be the Gene Wilder Richard Pryor movie, even though it's totally ableist.
He's been drinking.
At least it's clever in it, and these guys like it's a plot point that they lost their something happened to them where they lost their sight or their hearing in a specific, like it's actually like set up like very clever, their backstory. It doesn't tell you until like they meet each other and like they have a good rapport. I'm going to choose See No Evil, Hear No Evil. There it is. Look at this. That
You're not friends, Mark T.
was in the VHS rental place every time. But it's not good, but I will choose a goofball, ableist comedy any day of the week over, man, the darkest comedy.
Do you think, though, people,
think of.
if you tried to introduce nowadays young people to this movie, would they like it? Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Hear No Evil? Like, do you think they could sit through that?
I don't think they can sit through a movie, but if they can, they might be like, oh, it depends if they think that's funny. Like, there's a gag that this guy can't see and this guy can see. Like, it's a classic kind of bit. So if they think that's funny, it is kind of vaudevillian in a sense. So maybe they won't like it. Kids.
Yeah.
Kids aren't gonna sit down with the Weatherman either. So
yeah,
there you go.
It is I could see Weatherman is a bit dark. It's a little twisted. So I understand people might not enjoy that entirely.
Okay, Ian, tell us your
mine. Pick. I think I said it already. It's Ishtar. I think there's more. It's got a little more brain to it. Second half is a little weak, but the first half, when they're doing their thing, I think they've got great chemistry. It's funny. So Ishtar.
Okay, so my pick is the Weatherman.
Oh,
so we're at a tie.
That's duress. You chose it under duress.
So we all get the employee of the month.
Yay, us!
Sounding effort. All right, Mark, check out your website. Thanks for being on.
Wait, we need to tell them where to find.
Oh, sorry.
The movies. You can find The Weatherman on Paramount Plus, or you can track down a Blu-ray. Ishtar you can rent on iTunes or on Prime, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil, don't bother with. So I will erase that. No, it's on Netflix. You can get it on Netflix. You can track down a Blu-ray, and that's where you can find those movies. Where were we, Bill?
Okay.
Brutal.
All right.
And check out this website. Bye, guys.
Pop the popcorn, grab a Coke, and find that old VHS. We're diving deep in cheesy flicks. Yeah, we're on a vintage quest. Low reviews but high on laughs. Let's give these films a cheer. The cult classics, flops, and nuts. There are topics this year. We're the Ejectables, rolling back the years, celebrating movies that no one else